Hello, hello, friends. And this is Jaime, and I am your host of the PhotograpHER podcast. And I am so excited this morning to have Becca Lueck of Becca Jean Photography to the podcast. Rebecca is a Portland based family photographer, educator, and mentor who's been in the industry for well over a decade, I think 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she's someone I deeply respect for how intentionally she shows up for other photographers, including myself. And what I love about her is that she's never just focused on just growth for the sake of growth. She's always been about connection, sustainability, and doing the work in a way that actually feels good. And now she's stepping into a new chapter by launching a brand new membership centered on a community for family photographers, which launches this week. And today we're going to talk about the importance of community and why it's important while you're growing your business and what it looks like in real life and how Becca is creating space for photographers to feel supported, seen, and less alone. So welcome, Becca.
Hi, Jamie. Thank you. That was a nice intro.
Yes. So before we talk about business, I want to start with you. And can you share a little bit about your journey into photography and what's kept you here for all these years? Because it's been 15 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, just a little over.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I feel like because I started so long ago, there wasn't all of the education out there, so I had no idea what I was doing, and I grew really, really slowly. So that's kind of something that's nice for people who are starting now, where there's all this information for them, and they don't have to grow as slowly as I did. So I actually started because, I had been taking pictures of my little sister in like this abandoned house down the road from our house because we thought it looked cool. And then she wanted to make an online store for women's clothing. And so we were taking photos for that website. And that's kind of what started my love of photography, is just being able to take those photos of her and her friends. And I thought I was going to be more like a fashion photographer or something like that. So I went to school for graphic design, photography, and illustration. And my focus was more on graphic design. And I actually thought I was going to be a website designer. But then I fell in love with photography after having my son and realizing that photography was super, super fun. And so I decided that I was going to start doing photography. My first job was a wedding. Someone paid me to photograph their wedding when I had no idea what I was doing. So after that, I decided, weddings were not my thing.
Right.
No, thank you.
You too, yeah.
Yeah, too much stress. But I was, I had my son, and so I had been photographing him and posting those online. And of course, people would be like, "Oh, your photos are so good. Could you take our photos?" And I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing, but okay." So that's kind of how it started, which is, I feel like how a lot of people start is they're posting their photos and somebody says, "Oh, you're so good. Will you take our photos?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah. When I was younger, I would hang up a really dirty old quilt in my dad's garage, and I would like make my friends model and then I'd have a video, and then I'd make like these behind the scenes of like Vogue, like that was what we were doing and pretending we were. And I still have them, and I still threaten them that I'm going to share them, and they're like, please don't. And they're really bad. I thought it was really amazing, but yeah. So I
Yeah,
remember, in the early days, just doing fun things like that. So I love that.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was super fun. Experimental. You got to try everything.
Yeah. Yep. So you've evolved so much creatively and professionally. What feels most true about who you are right now in the season of life that you're in and your business?
Just that I want to photograph connection and fun. And I'm not one of those photographers who's like super like soft and emotive and sentimental. I'm
Mhm.
more like I want to have some fun and we're going to laugh. So, and like I'll get the sweet emotive moments because it's a natural thing
Oh,
that
are you
they've
still there? You
done, but
froze a
I'm
little
not
bit.
trying to force it.
Okay. So was there a point in your career when you realized you didn't want to do this alone anymore, or that the community played a huge role in helping you grow your business or more than you originally thought? Like, when did you know, like, oh, this is huge to have a community?
So when I first realized that Facebook groups were a thing, I
Mhm.
would look in the Facebook groups and I would learn so much from just the questions that people were asking. And I joined this one online Facebook group community, and it made such a big difference for me in, I would say, I think it was like 2020 when everybody had nothing to do. There was a group that got started, like a small group, and it was a Zoom meeting, and we would meet, I want to say every week, and we would just chat about photography and share all of our thoughts and what was working and what wasn't. And that was really my first time feeling like really connected to a community and seeing how that felt. And on top of that, there was also crap, why do I always forget the name of it? Hold on. Oh. And on top of that, there was Clubhouse that got really big in like 2020. And so I was on there and making chat rooms and talking about photography there. So all of that was like my first time really feeling like I had a community, and that like blew my mind. I feel like I grew so fast just by having those communities available and to be able to talk things out. And yeah, it was insane.
I remember you inviting me to a Clubhouse chat room or something like that. It was about SEO, and I
Mhm.
remember thinking like, oh, like people are actually really do want to help you, or they, it wasn't. I think things have changed a lot over the last like decade, but I remember when I was before I had officially started, I was always afraid to ask questions to other photographers because I was like, well, they aren't going to want to talk to me, or if they were super successful, I was very nervous to reach out because I felt silly or I wasn't good enough, or they were like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. You're like, I'm too busy. So I loved that you invited me to that. And it kind of opened my eyes to be like, oh, maybe there is a space for that. So I remember the Clubhouse app. I think it was an app, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still on my phone, although I haven't opened it in
Yeah.
forever.
In your experience, what makes photography feel especially isolating for a lot of people, but especially new photographers?
Well, yeah, because it's like new photographers are just trying to figure stuff out on their own, and
Mhm.
they're just working by themselves all day, and that's what most photographers are doing, especially if they don't have a community. They're just trying to figure it out, and they're all day just by themselves. So, you don't want to feel so lonely. You want to have coworkers, and the way to do that is to have some kind of community. And if it's in person, cool, but a lot of times it's easier to connect with people online because they live in different places and people are a little bit more open with their information because you're not their direct competitor. Although I will say that here in Portland, we have an amazing community of
We do.
photographers, and yeah, we all
And
hang out.
you are a
You
huge
know.
part of that. We're a huge part of that, and I so appreciate that because I work alone a lot still, and I have a lot of experience now. But when I was newer, I was very nervous, and I thought, okay, I'll just have to do this on my own. I had no idea what I was doing, and when I was invited into that community, and I saw like, oh, we're all feeling the same thing. We all have the same struggles, or very similar. We're all trying our hardest. We all want to win, and we want others to win, and they were so helpful. That was huge to me, and it still is, because it's like you need a tribe. You need people to tell you you're not crazy when you think you are, that you can raise your prices, that you can do the things that you think aren't possible. And I still, to this day, I will get like little tidbits of just like a one sentence that somebody says to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then I do it. My business totally changes. And one of those things was at your one of your community gatherings, and another photographer that were direct competition, she was like, you should be doing this. And I did it, and it completely changed my outlook. So it's amazing to have that. And I think it's good to bring up like we're in the same area, but yet we're all supporting each other. And we do have a really amazing community. It's just, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's
So,
true because while we are in the same area, we don't have the exact same clients, or if we do,
right.
like it's not a big deal. There's enough people out there for everybody, and we all have different personalities and different ways of running our business that
Mm-hmm.
certain people will be attracted to. So it's like I'm not worried about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think changes when a photographer goes from feeling stuck or alone to getting into a community and saying, "Hey, I need help," without feeling judgment?
Yeah, you're if you are able to ask something and get an answer from somebody who's been through that and who totally understands what it is that you're feeling and going through, like it makes such a big difference than to just ask the question to like let's say your partner who doesn't really get it, and a lot of times their answer is not correct because they don't understand, especially if they don't run their own business. They I mean I my partner's great, but I've heard from other people that their partner will be like, "Oh no, you can't charge that much. Like nobody's going to pay that price." And it's like, "No, no, no. Talk to some photographers who charge more than you and are successful and you will see that it is possible."
Absolutely. And I love that you bring that up because I love talking about expanders. And if you're listening and you don't know what an expander is, I'm sure most of you do, but if you don't, an expander is someone that is in business that's doing what you want to do, or you're like, I didn't know that was possible, and you see them doing it and you're like, okay, maybe I could do that. And you were one for me, and Tristan Tracy photography was a huge one for
Mm-hmm.
me too. And recently Lindsay Hanna like blew my mind at a retreat we were
Yes.
just at. I was like, wait a minute, you're saying I can do that thing? Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Like I was just, it was an expander moment. I love that you brought that up because I I don't think I've ever had a mentor say I can't do something, but I've definitely had potential clients say that's ridiculous, or friends or family that don't understand, and that's
Yeah.
really hard. And it's like a heartbreaking moment when somebody tells you you can't do something because you believe it, because you don't have somebody else saying, no, actually I do that and you can do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on friends and family.
Yes. I mean, I love them, but not for my business.
Exactly. They're wonderful, but they don't get it. And
They don't.
especially, if they're, I don't know, I feel like when I first started, I was not my target client. I was not my ideal client at all. So, like, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm charging $60 for this mini session right now. Like, that's insane. And then, I'm trying to get my friends to do it. And they're like, oh, I don't know, it's a little expensive, And then once you raise your prices and then those people don't come back to you because they tell you you're too expensive, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't charge this much. But, like, the people in your immediate circle are most of the time not your ideal client. Plus, they don't think of you as this business person, as this photographer persona. They think of you as like the person that they know really well. So they don't really have that same trust in you as like somebody who comes and hires you because they've seen your work and they love what you do and they trust you. It's a totally different person and they're going to value it very differently.
Amen to that. I could do a whole podcast on that. I actually recently had to set a boundary with myself more than anybody. I don't photograph friends or family anymore. The only ones I do are my nieces and nephews and my sister, and that's because if they don't like something, I can be really honest and be like, "Well, you get what you get. It was free, and you're good. Like, leave me alone."
Yeah,
But
exactly.
they just, it's I know they mean well, but it's exactly what you said. Like, they don't see you as that professional photographer that you are now. And when my business grew and I was hired by people I had no idea who they were and we were complete strangers, it was wonderful, which you
Hmm.
think would be the opposite, but it was
Yeah.
amazing because they saw me as the professional and somebody they could trust. So I love
Yeah.
that you brought that
Super
up.
true.
Yeah. So you've supported so many photographers through the years with mentoring and education, and I know you're launching your new community stuff this week, but you've already had a community for so long. So I want to know, what patterns do you see when people do have support versus when they try to figure everything out on their own?
Well, I feel like they grow a lot faster, for
Mhm.
sure. And I mean, I know we've already discussed it, but yes, you can see what is possible that you didn't really understand could be possible. So
Mhm.
just seeing what other people are doing and then thinking, oh my gosh, I had no idea that I could even do that. Or like different ways of doing things. So what I love is like a group discussion about, a certain topic somebody brings up and then everybody shares how they do that thing. And then you can take things from how everybody does it and like combine it into the perfect thing for you and your business. That makes a huge difference as well.
What do
Yeah, but
you
I
think?
think just mostly like growth because
Yeah,
you grow so much faster with having these types of discussions.
absolutely. That brings me to my next question is why do you think a community is just as important as a strategy or skill when it comes to long-term success?
Yeah, well, I mean, having strategies and skills are great, but understanding how to implement them in different ways and
Mhm.
also just having that support of someone telling you that like yes, you can do that and that is possible or like just hyping you up really like when you have photographer friends who can hype you up and like tell you how amazing you are and how like that's a really good idea, like that's so helpful. Just giving you like that mindset of being more confident, I think.
For sure. Yeah. So I want to dive into your new membership and talk a little bit about that. So I'm so excited to hear about that. So your brand new membership launches this week, and I want to know what inspired you to create this now.
Yeah, well, it will already be launched by the time this comes out. So yay. Um okay, so the thing that I do is I have so many ideas and I keep trying to create stuff all the time. It's like I want to make this course and I want to make this course. I want to help people with this thing. And then I'm just constantly making new things and then not spending the time to really market them to the fullest that I could have. And but I had always told myself like, oh, I don't want to do a membership because then I have to create something every month and I have to make sure that I do that. And then I really thought about it and I was like, I'm doing that anyway, like duh. So
Yeah.
it really makes sense for me. I have a lot of things to say, but I don't necessarily need an entire course for everything that I want to share about either. So these are like small little mini lessons within the community. So each month there will be two lessons that will be between like 5 and 20 minutes
Nice.
and there will be a behind the scenes clip from one of my sessions, probably taken with my meta glasses. And, they're like short clips, but I'll pick the things that I think are going to be really helpful for people. So, like this month, I actually did a really long one because I thought it was going to be really helpful, but it is probably around 5 minutes. But it's a family who has 5 kids, and it's all the dad. So it's the dad with each individual kid. So you get to see how we like bring in each kid, and we're at the beach, and how I have him interact with each kid. But a lot of them are not in the mood to do the things that I said. So you get to see how I deal with that and how it all goes. And I show like the finished images, and I included a voice note from me where I kind of go through the whole thing after and explain what was happening and what I was thinking and different things like that. So it's going to be super valuable.
Oh, very. I love that.
Yeah.
And I want to point out something too that you mentioned. You're like, these are short and digestible things that you can do, which I think is really nice, especially if you're doing something like every month. It's nice to have these little tidbits. I think it's easier to digest because I know a lot of photographers are parents and they're busy or they're working another job or they're trying to go full time or they are full time and they're just very busy. And I want to say, like, those, even if it's a 5 minute thing, which I know yours are longer, but even that, like, sometimes those little tiny nuggets that you get are huge. So
Yeah.
it's so valuable.
It's true. So that's
Hmm.
like the learning part.
Hmm.
And then there's also going to be a Facebook group that's going to be super engaged to have tons of ideas
Hmm.
on ways to keep that engaged and having fun and having everybody get to know each other there. And then we'll have one meeting each month to start. We'll see, I might have to add a second one if it grows to be pretty big, but at this point, we have one planned, and it'll be the third Thursday, or yeah, the third Thursday of most of the time, the third Thursday of every month. Sometimes it might be a different one just because of my scheduling, but for the most part. And it'll be at 10 a.m. my time, which is Pacific, or like 1 p.m. Eastern. And that is a spot not only to ask me questions and get answers, but like definitely use it for that, but also like a group chat. And I want to have discussions, and we'll talk about whatever happens to come up, and we'll see what everybody else in the chat does around that thing, so we can all really learn from each other. And it's not just me, because yeah, learning from me is cool, but also everybody else has so much to contribute as well.
Yeah. Well, that sounds amazing. I love that. I want to do it. I would love
You're welcome to come.
I well. So even though your membership is new, I know you've worked so closely with photographers for a really long time. What have you learned that has shaped what this community is going to be now?
Probably like a million things.
Mhm.
I think, I'm trying to think of what experiences I've had in different groups and things like that, and like masterminds that I've taken. And I feel like the learning is good, but the most valuable part about everything that I've done is the relationships in the community. Like when I go to in-person retreats, I love learning what I learn, but I like the community part is my favorite. And something that somebody says is always going to spark something in your brain to just be like, oh my gosh. And like, I just went where you were there too. We just went to Elena's mastermind retreat, and we were sitting around just chatting with each other. And like, I wrote down so many things that I needed to change about my systems just based on what other people had said. And I was like, how am I still finding ways to tweak what I feel like is a perfect system? But it's not perfect, and it can always be better, is the thing.
For sure, you can always learn something new. I always say always be learning, because I think you can always be learning something. We don't always know it all. So
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, I go to so many retreats, and I'm always like, yeah, I'm going to probably take a couple nuggets here and there from different things, but the best part is definitely just chatting with other photographers and learning how they run their business.
So what kind of photographer did you have in mind when you were building this? And who do you feel like this space is really perfect for?
It's kind of built for either, sort of beginner all the way up to intermediate. Like if you're super advanced, you're probably not going to learn as much from all of the, education part, although obviously there's always something to be learned and little tidbits and whatnot. But the community part will be good for literally anyone. But yeah, it's definitely geared more towards like beginner to intermediate, maybe a little bit more than intermediate, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been doing this for 8 years now, and I feel like I would get so much out of it. Not only that, like, I feel like hearing from newer photographers, you feel like, okay, especially when you're in the education part, you can hear like, oh, I forgot that was a part of the learning. Like, you kind of have to step back a little bit. So I think really there's so much room for so many photographers in your community, because as somebody that I would say I'm intermediate, I think I would learn a lot from it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not making the lessons like super, super beginner or anything, but I do know that like a beginner would get a ton out of it. So,
Oh,
yeah.
for sure. For sure. What are you hoping that your students feel in this community? I know that we talked about what they're going to learn and what they're going to get, but how do you want them to feel when they're a part of this community?
It's important to me that everybody feels included, and that is actually one thing about one of the groups that I've been in the past is it felt really cliquey, and like it was being run by like the cool kids.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like I'm not cool. I in high school I was like in the nerd group.
Mhm.
I was definitely not in any way cool, and I don't consider myself cool. I consider myself a big dork, a nerd, and goofy. Okay. So I want people to feel like they're included and that it's not a cool kids club at all, because that's not how I am. And I don't want it to feel cliquey or anything. So, like, everybody is included, everybody's invited, and everybody is equally important. That's how I want
I
everybody
think
to
you're
feel.
really cool, but I think you also are really good at making people feel welcome and invited, and that even though you've had a ton of success and you're doing amazing things, you don't come off as unapproachable.
Good. Yay. Thank you. I'm glad.
Cool. How do you see this membership supporting photographers differently than like a one-off course, which I think there's a lot of value in those too, but how is that different in your eyes?
Yeah, so a one-off course, yeah, obviously it's awesome. I have plenty of those.
Mhm.
But in this, it's like everybody is learning different topics together every month and then discussing them in the group, and you're seeing the same people over and over again. So you kind of start to get to know each other, and it just feels like better. It feels like a place that you can go when you need that support. And I just think, yeah, just having that community is really special, because yes, you can be in a course, but a lot of times it doesn't have that same feeling of connection and community.
For sure. Yeah. What would you say to somebody listening that doesn't have a community where, like, a physically where they're at? I know online we can have that, which is amazing. But what if somebody's listening and they're going to join your community, but they also want to have something in their local area and they don't know of one or they don't have one? What would be the steps for them, or like inspiration for them that you would tell them to go and do that? What are some things that you would say start here?
I I mean, if you are the type of person who would go out and start it yourself, I would say start it yourself, because if it doesn't exist, then you need to be the one to start it or it's not going to happen, right? So I when I was first kind of thinking about starting some kind of a community in our area, I actually first started a group chat on Instagram, and it was like a loop that we would all post, on the same day, which we don't do anymore, but that group chat we still use. But I just think having a group chat with different people in your area who are interested in creating a community and having friends to chat with is a really good first step, because you get to know each other online. But of course, I didn't invite people who I didn't have any connection with. So I guess the first step is to find the people in your area who seem like your type of people and just start chatting with them. Like, follow their stories and reply to their stories and start little conversations here and there, comment on their things, and just do it in an authentic way. And you'll just naturally make friends in your area. And then once you have some of those, create a group chat, see if any of those people have local friends that they want to invite. And then all of a sudden your group is growing. And now that you have that group chat, you can then say, hey, why don't we meet up? And then plan a meetup. That's kind of how it happened for us. So
Yeah, and I that goes into my next question is like I think sometimes people might feel like, okay, I can do that online, but like how do we get there in person? And it's as simple as like we're gonna do breakfast or something and we're just gonna meet up. Like
yeah,
there's no itinerary. We're just gonna meet up and just hang out and
chat.
talk. Yeah, we'll
Yes.
probably be talking about photography, but we're just gonna get to know each other, things like
Yeah.
that. So it doesn't have to be this huge event type thing,
Yeah.
just getting to know each other and things like that. Which, by the way, you had invited me to a handful before I had left my job, and I remember when I finally left my job and the first one I got to go to, because it was during the week when I was usually at work, and it was like I had made it. Like I was like, I have created my own schedule and now I get to go to these photographer like get-togethers and talk to everybody, and it was such a huge win for me, and it was so exciting to be around that energy, especially when you're alone a lot, because you do you're really sitting in your office or wherever alone a lot, and you
Yeah.
just feel alone, and you're not. But
Right.
yeah,
I mean, you are and you're not at the
right,
same
yeah.
time.
Mhm. Yeah, and
You're
it's
not if
funny
you have
because
friends.
yeah, it's funny because I feel like I have so many friends across like other areas, and
Mhm.
some of them I've never actually met in person, but we talk so much, and I'm like, oh yeah, like we know each other, and then we meet in real person at a retreat or something, and I'm like, oh, we haven't actually met.
Yes. It gets so hard once you start going to a lot of retreats because you'll be like, wait a second, have we met in real life or is it just that I've seen your photo online and we've chatted so much?
Yeah, exactly. So my point of saying that is that you can create real connections online and real relationships
Definitely.
and uh, real support. So I love that.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, I want to ask you a little bit about your membership a little bit more before we wrap up, but I want to know what's one thing you genuinely love about the industry right now, and what is something that you really don't like about it right now?
Okay, something that I love about it is I think that people are starting to realize, and maybe it's just because I'm in a lot of Facebook groups for photographers, but people are starting to realize that we need to be charging more money. I feel like collectively there's a lot of talk around that and there's a lot of photographers chiming in with a lot of support and just saying, oh, look, this is how much I charge and I am very successful where I live. And a lot of times it's like not always people in big cities, it's people in small towns and they're like, no, no, no. Even though you live in a small town and you think people are not going to pay these prices, like look what I'm doing. And I just think it's really great that everybody's just trying to lift up the industry as a whole. And I know that there's still a lot of people who are still like super new and so they don't feel like they can do that yet, but at least they can see that it's possible. Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah. And then what's something you wish would kind of quietly disappear in the industry and like that you hope your members see in your community kind of go away? Like what is something you're like, don't love that part?
That's a tough one. I
Mhm.
mean, immediately I just want to say like tilted horizon lines, but like that's just a personal preference.
Oh, I used to do that, and I thought, oh, that I got this down. I tilt it, and that looks professional. But yeah,
Oh
now I
yeah,
don't.
I used to do it too when I first started. But that's actually really funny because it was popular like 10 years ago or something, but that's the way of the world is that like we cycle through things and now all of a sudden that's popular again and I keep seeing it and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this person actually does it really well." But for me, like there's no freaking way. I'm not
Mhm.
going to do it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I have to remind myself this too. But there's something if I want to say what I wish would go away is trends and keeping true to yourself. Like as you grow, yes, you're going to change, and I don't mean like that, but I mean like maybe an editing trend or you see somebody do something so you gravitate towards that. Totally guilty of it, especially when I was newer, but there's so much power and authenticity in doing it your way, and don't think that if you're not getting hired right now or you're not as successful as you think you should be, that it's that, because it's probably just that not enough people know you yet. And so that's something
Yeah.
that I wish would go away. You mentioned the tilted horizon, so it made me think of that. So
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. And I see a lot of people who they have one style and then they do a complete
Mhm,
180 and all of a sudden their style is like the opposite.
mhm.
And but it could be one of two things. It could be that their old style was not true to them and they were following a trend and they felt like they had to do that, but they then
Mhm.
figured out what it was that they really wanted to do and so they switched it and like that makes sense for sure. But
Right,
other times it's just like, oh, okay, well, now this is what's the new thing that everybody's doing, so I want to do that too. So
right.
you just have to ask yourself like, is this actually what I want to do? And is
Mhm,
it something that I can continue to do long term, or is it just going to be a short term trend? Because you don't want to change your entire style based on
mhm,
a trend that's not going to be cool in a
mhm.
few years. Then you have to change it again.
Yeah, that's a good distinction because someone that I saw did that really well, and I don't think she was chasing a trend, but I do think she got true to herself as Brooke Holiday.
Hmm.
She went to film, and I
Yes.
felt like immediately I could see like that's what she's supposed to be doing, and I could
Yeah,
see how
100%.
deeply she loved it, and it showed through her work. So I do love that you mentioned the differences between the two, because one is like I got to do that because they're look like they're getting hired, versus like I don't feel
Right.
like I'm doing what I love and it's not filling my cup or it's not fulfilling. So good
Hmm.
distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always try and look at both sides of things.
Hmm.
I'm a
Yeah.
mediator.
Yeah. So, what do you think photographers need more of in the industry, but they're not talking enough about it? Do you think it's community?
I do think that it's community 100%. I mean, come on, that's like the point of this talk.
Hmm.
If we were not actually talking about this, I might have thought of something else, but
Hmm. Yeah,
but I do think it's community.
I do think it's huge. Yeah, I do. I think
Yeah.
I would say it's community and uh, belief, but I think those two are intertwined because when you have the community, you do have the belief, and it's so important to do those.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
mhm.
mindset for sure.
For sure.
Also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
actually that's something that I didn't think that I needed because I was like I'm a positive person. Like I don't need to work on my mindset. I feel good about it, but I didn't understand that it wasn't just being positive. It was about believing in yourself and also like money mindset. Everybody has
Oh.
a money mindset and I did not have mine down.
I didn't either. And it's something I still struggle with and work on, but I've gotten so much better at it. But yeah,
Yes.
there's so many things for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if money mindset can ever be like perfectly figured out and done. I feel like it's just something you have to work on forever.
Yes, for sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe somebody out there has figured it out, but
So as you prepare to launch this membership, what excites you more about the next chapter?
I am just really excited for photographers to get in there and like get chatting and just start making friends and even like I want to make friends, but I also want them to make friends with each other because I know how valuable that is. And like if you can find your people or even like just your person, I just think that's super valuable. And I was thinking about making like a post which is like, find your accountability buddy or something like that. But then I was afraid that some people would maybe not find the right fit and then feel
Yeah.
disappointed. So, but I'm going to have some other ways for people to connect. So it's not like you have to do this, but like here are some ideas of how to connect with different people.
If someone listening is craving connection or support, but they feel nervous to reach out or hesitant to join a community, what would you tell them right now?
Yeah, that's one thing that I was thinking of. Like, what if somebody is like, "Oh, well, maybe I would enjoy joining the membership and um, watching the classes and maybe participating in the Facebook group, but being on camera is really scary to me." And I would say, like, if I come in my pajamas with like the most ridiculous outfit on and look really crazy, like, will you come? Because you can't look any crazier than what I will be looking like. And I don't know, I just feel like the more you do it, the more you get on camera and chat with people, the easier it becomes because I used to be like a little bit more like that also, like, oh, I don't know, putting my face on camera. I don't like that. But the more
Mhm.
you do it, the better it feels and you get to have that value of being in the community and talking to people face to face, not like in person, but whatever, online face to face. So it's just it's so helpful. But also, people are welcome to just watch the replays and not come if you would like. And maybe that's like a good start and then you can see how it goes and how it feels and then feel comfortable to join in on another month.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was my next question is, for the hesitant person or even somebody that's just really excited to do it. So they joined and they sign up. What does that look like after they do that? Can you kind of walk me through like they join and what do they see first? And then they have the Zoom calls. Can you give us an idea of what exactly that will look like for them?
When they join, they're taken to a page that gives them the link to the Facebook group so they can join right away, and then also a link to the portal, which will have all the month's education. It's already loaded in there, it's ready to go. So once people join, then they'll have that right away.
Mhm.
And then in the Facebook group, we'll have a lot of different posts for engagement and just like getting to know each other and fun little things. And then the Zoom meetings will also be, the link will be in the portal. I'll also post it to the group as well. But in the portal, you have to like sign up once, and once you sign up for the Zooms, then you'll be able to be entered every time. So I don't have to like accept everybody who comes into the chat room. It'll just know them and they'll just immediately be able to come in. I was like, that's the way I'm going to do it. Because I've
Yeah.
done Zoom calls where you have to accept every single person, and like, that is too much work.
Yeah. Excuse me. So they join, they go to the page, they go to the Facebook group, and they're in, and then they have access to all those things. And I want
Mhm.
to talk about a little bit more about what you are really good at teaching, which I feel like is just a plethora of things. But can you talk about some of the smaller courses that you have so it would give people an idea of what they would be learning in there as well? I know they're going to be learning from everybody and they're going to be chatting and there's so many other things they're going to get, but can you tell me a little bit about the courses that you already do have?
Yes. So this month I have one about what to do if a kid doesn't want to do what your idea is. So it takes you through like 4 different options of things that you can do instead. And then I decided that the behind the scenes would go along with that, which is why I have that one with the dad where the kids don't want to do what I'm telling them to do. So that kind of supports it. And I thought that that would be a really valuable one for the first month. Um, and then I'm trying to remember what the other one is. I just recorded it. Oh, it's in-home sessions, because that's like really timely right now because we're all in the winter months, and so in-home sessions are a lot easier to sell than outdoor right now. At least for us. Maybe people in California and Florida, not so much. So it's about how I run my in-home sessions, so then they're a lot of fun and there's activities to do rather than, just running it like an outdoor session where it's like, prompts and stuff. It's a little bit more documentary style. So I talk about that, and that's this month. Next month is not fully decided yet, but I know I'll have, lots of things about like social media and marketing, other ways. I'll have a little bit of like some SEO tips sometimes. I don't know. There's like all sorts. It could be like literally anything. As long as it would have to do with a family photographer, I will be talking about it.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned that because you do have so much valuable education. So, your playful prompts and your marketing and your Instagram and all of these little things, like you have so much value that I know you'll put in there. So, and I have I think it's your playful prompts cards
Hmm.
is what I have. And I use them pretty much every time because something in my brain when I show up and I'm in my car right before I'm like, okay, what do I do? And I know what I'm doing, but I'll look at it and I'm like, okay, I just have to like have it in my head and I pretty much have it memorized by now. But for some reason I just feel safer. I look at it really quick in case, your brain, it just happens. Like sometimes your brain is just like blank. You're just drawing a
Yeah.
blank.
Actually, before every session, I try and get to sessions early, and then it
Mhm.
is a little bit frustrating when my clients show up early too, and I'm like, I was gonna have this time to
Yep.
prepare. But anyway, usually I will take some time to look through my phone. I have a folder on there
Mhm.
where I have just saved like tons and tons of photo ideas that I think would be really fun and cool. And
Mhm.
even if I don't actually do those, just looking at them before the session gets you in that creative mindset
Right.
of thinking of different things that you could do. And so I just feel like that's so much more helpful what like to do before a session. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, 'cause sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I want to try this exact thing, but I probably won't remember it. I just
Mhm.
won't.
I think that's to become quicker on your feet too in your thoughts. Like you show up to a session and you think it's going to go one way, and then you're like, oh, this kid is having a hard time, or maybe the parent, you can tell they're feeling a little stressed. Like it just does happen sometimes. So I think having those in your back pocket, so to speak, is
Yeah.
so, because you're like, okay, we can just move on, and I have all these other ideas. Because I've been
Yeah.
to sessions where I'm like, I'm just feeling a little bit like, what do I do now? So, which I think that happens to everybody, but having those things can be really helpful.
Yeah, I think with prompts, the best way to like remember them, so then when you're at a session, you actually like it's in your mind, is to act them out. And even if you don't even have anybody else around, like just stand in your house when nobody else is home and just pretend like you're talking to your clients. Because if you
Mm.
say it out loud, you're more likely to remember it. So, like, say it out loud and then imagine in your head them doing the thing that you said, and then imagine what you would say to them next. And that will help a lot. You could also enlist some people. You could enlist your family or some friends or whatever and just tell them to act out whatever it is that you say, and that's another way to remember it also.
Yeah, I think acting it out and saying it, it'll be ingrained in your head a little bit more, so you won't
Yeah.
feel so nervous. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you have done so much for me, and I know you'll do so much for people that haven't met you yet, and I know there's a lot of people listening that already do know you and they're excited about your membership. So I'm very excited for you and them. And I want to know, how can people find you, and are you going to, I think you've sent me some things to put in the show notes, but
I did.
yes.
Yes.
So I'll put those
You
in
will
there too.
have links.
Yes.
Yeah. I am at Becca Jean Photography on Instagram, and that's really all you need to know because that's where
Mhm.
I show up the most.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then the links to, the membership and stuff will be in the show notes.
Amazing. Is there anything else you want to add to a photographer that might be listening right now that is new to you and they don't know you and they are like, I need to check her out? And what is one thing that you would tell them about growing a business, and then one random thing about you that they don't know yet that they should know?
Okay, wait. I'm gonna start with the random thing.
Okay.
Um, I can put my tongue into a three-leaf clover, which I
Mm,
taught myself one time on a really long car ride. And I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. And I like taught my tongue how to do it. So
okay.
weird. But now I can. I'm not gonna do it. It looks so stupid. It looks ridiculous. But I can, and so just know that.
Okay. Talent.
um,
On
okay.
photography.
Yeah, yeah. Multi-talented,
Yeah.
That's gonna get me far in life.
Yeah.
Um, I guess what I want photographers to know about business and everything. There's so many things.
Mhm.
Probably just that you can charge more than whatever you're charging. I could probably
Mhm.
charge more than what I'm charging. Like we all can.
Mhm.
There's a client out there for everyone, and
Mhm.
if you feel like you're not getting the right clients or you're getting a lot of complaints or like little nitpicky things, it's probably because you aren't charging enough. And I learned
Mhm.
that the hard way. But whenever, if you're charging like $150 for a session, well, that $150 is like a really big deal for whoever is hiring you for that price point, right? So then they're like, I better get my money's worth. And if these aren't perfect, then I'm going to complain. But then once you get into that higher price point, you're charging over $1,000 for a session. The clients who are going to pay for that, it's like that's not all that much to them, because if they can afford that, then they're in a different mindset with their money, and it's like, oh, $1,000, like, that's fine, not a big deal,
Yeah.
which might sound wild to
Mhm.
you, because that would have sounded wild to me. I would never pay that amount for a session when I
Yeah.
first started, but I definitely would now.
Oh,
Anyway, I
that's
went that was a really long answer.
no, I think that's a great point, because I'm not my ideal client anymore, and I think I was maybe for a short period, but I'm not anymore. And I really had to tell myself, like, it's not weird to them. It's you're making it weird for yourself. Like it's not
Yeah.
weird. So don't make it weird. And
Yes.
they were excited. And with that said, like, and I know you know this, like you do have to back it up with the experience. You do have to give them something. You have to
Yes.
do what you say you're going to do and give them this great experience. But I think for the most part, a lot of us are, and we just don't think that we can charge more. But it's not just about charging more. It is about you have to pay your bills and you have to pay
Yes.
taxes and you're running a business. So it's
Yeah.
multifaceted, but yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
sure.
Even at the amount that I'm charging like $14.50 for the cheapest thing that people can get.
Mm-hmm.
And even at that, I'm like, oh my God, all of my money is going to taxes. I have no money.
Yep. Yeah, especially this time of year. You're looking back. Well, it's February when we're recording this, so I'm like, okay, it's
Yeah.
coming. What's the
Yeah.
damage?
I know. Every time there's a sunny day, all of a sudden you get inquiries and you're like, oh my gosh, people realize that there is sun here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate your time, and I'm really excited for you, and I'm really excited for the people that are going to be joining this membership or any of your courses for that matter, because they're always amazing. So I so appreciate your time, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you, Jamie. This was fun.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.